thank you for taking the time and to come down here. I know Eric told me that you're always very busy, very packed with your schedule, so I really appreciate the time you took to come down and do the podcast with us.
Thank you for the invite. I'm excited to just be here and sit down and talk to you and share what I know in your podcast. Yeah, I'm excited.
No, thank you. How long have you been doing this the real estate part of things? Did you have a career before you kind of took off with that?
So I'm a migrant. I was born in Mexico. Mm-hmm. So my career path has always been really work to survive.
Okay.
So when we moved to Florida, mm-hmm. we did a lot of migrant work.
Which is
picking tobacco and cucumbers out in the field and blueberries.
That's tough.
So I grew up doing that. Yeah, that was my summers.
Wow.
So my career path, honestly, I got married, mm-hmm. moved to North Carolina, and my goal in life, and this is truth to say, I wanted to have a home, and I wanted to have an 8-to-5 job, because yo miraba todas las personas, mm-hmm. Las americanas, que tenían su carro, su casa, a home and their car, and I wanted that. Like, I never had a home and a car. Like, that was my goal. Mm-hmm. So I worked in sales. I got married, moved to North Carolina, and I worked in sales.
Okay.
For a company called MDI. And then from there, I kind of always scaled up because I always wanted more. And I stayed there for like 16 years. But in real estate, so I've been doing it for 3 full years now.
Really?
Mm-hmm, 3-4 years.
A very short period of time for you to grow your audience, I would say.
Yeah, so my first year in sales, I did $7 million. My second year in sales, I did like $21 million.
For the company you were working for, or the real estate part?
For real estate part. So my first year in real estate, I did $7 million, mm-hmm. which I would cry. I would be like, how am I gonna feed my kids? You think I was like single, right? But I'm not. I'm married. But I always I always depend on myself, even though I do have my partner.
Does that ever clash with your partner? I'm curious. Or do you guys work for the same goal?
So we have 2 goals in life, our daughter and our son, those are our goals, but no, it never clashes. Like, he does his thing and I do my thing. Mm-hmm. And whenever we need to meet in the middle or whenever we need to collab, we do. But okay. he does not get himself involved in my stuff unless I ask him to be involved.
Okay.
Which is very important because in real estate, it could be very demanding and very lonely, and it's hard if you have a partner that wants you to be right there beside them at all times, or wants, no es machista at all.
Okay,
like, he's like, where are you? No, he doesn't ever ask me where I'm at, which is a good thing, because I'd be like, well, right now I'm in Charlotte, then I'm in Gastonia, but then I'm back in Hickory, and then I'm in Burke County.
So what time do you end your days normally?
So my day could end like at 8:30, 9, 10, depending at night, and it starts as early as 4 a.m.
Wow. But you're not working for someone else. Is that what kind of moves you forward, or?
Well, my son Eric asked me a quick question. He goes, Mom, why do you work? Like, what is your goal, right? And I said,
you were curious where that came from, or
yeah,
not?
No, I was like, I don't know why I work, to be honest. Like, I don't have like a monetary goal. Like, I've never been like, I just told you my goal in life was to have a house and a car. Like, that was legit my goal,
Uh-huh.
But now my goal is really to grow my my revenue or my network for my kids, because that's what I'm going to leave to them. Okay. And then they can leave that for their kids and so on. Like, I work hard. Honestly, the only reason I work hard is just to show them, like, hey, hard work does pay off when you work for yourself.
Okay. And how do you handle the days that you don't want to get up, or is it always positive?
No, not, you don't feel positive all the time. There's days in real estate. Real estate is really lonely. It's a really lonely business unless you have like a whole team behind you that you literally have to support that team, right? Mm-hmm. So in the days that I don't want to focus or I don't feel myself, then I just sit down and say, hey, my mom, we literally crossed the border. My mom was a single mom, like 6 kids, todos ilegales. You know what I mean? Like, our goal was literally to eat every day. So whenever I start feeling down on myself, I'm like, I should not feel down. You know, like, I tengo dos manos, dos pies, vine a este país a trabajar, and I'm just going to go get it. Like, there's days that we didn't have enough food to eat. So now I am very thankful that we can even go out to eat. Look at this. You know, like, I'm very thankful that I'm able to provide for my daughter, you know, like for my son. Or before, I remember for us, Pizza Hut back in the day when we were little was like, man, that was like, wow, we've made it. We're having Pizza Hut. We like had a great month if we have some pizza, you know, back when we were kids. So just
and I can understand you on that. Like, I mean, I didn't grow up in obviously like poverty, but like my parents did the best that they could, and McDonald's for us was like like every 3 months. But whenever we went to McDonald's, it's like it's gonna go down because because like we don't really go out that much, and I kind of like appreciated that because, you know, today, like, I think that we're also, like, always, like, wanting to eat out. And it's, like, my parents tell me, like, si tú quieres comer, like, hazte un huevo en la casa. Or, like, you know, I say, hay frijoles en la casa. You know what? As an adult, you realize, you know what? There is actually frijoles en la casa. Like, I don't want to spend that money. A meal here in Charlotte, it's like $10, $20, $30, and it accumulates. So it's like, I appreciate that they showed me that side of things. But I think if I had not had that, I wouldn't have appreciated things the way that I do now, you know?
Yeah, and that goes back to my work ethic, you know, like people ask me, why do you get up every day at 4? Well, it is honestly a habit of mine, you know, like, whenever we worked in tobacco, like we were working every summer, we would leave school, right? We would leave school for summer break, then we would go to the tobacco fields in South Carolina.
What time did you, like what age? I'm sorry.
I was, tenía como 11 años. Empecé a trabajar a los 11 años.
They don't discriminate.
They do not discriminate. Back in the day, you know, you could start, the kids would work like at the age of 7. They were out picking like tobacco. They were out picking cucumbers. Of course, you know, the kids would take breaks. But I remember at age 11, we worked from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You know. That's hard.
Yeah.
Right? But we didn't have a choice. Like, we wanted to buy school clothes. You know, we wanted to help my mom, who was a single mom, you know. And we were all illegal, so no podíamos ir a pedir estampillas o ayuda. What they call estampillas back in the day in the 90s is called food stamps now. You know, we couldn't get any of that because we were not legalized. You know, we didn't have any legal status in the U.S. And then, you know, it was hard. So
kind of growing up, like you experienced being in the tobacco fields. Did you ever aspire to go to school, or did that thought ever cross your mind? Was it your mother's goal to put you guys through school?
Honestly, mi mamá siempre nos decía, hey, estudien para que no hagan esto, ¿verdad? Pero como tú, like, as you know, and I was talking to my sister, my little sister about this, where we are as educated as we can be, and we teach our kids the education that we know as parents. Like, you know, I'm educated as I can be, and I try to give them that education that I have. But they're always, like, Eric is way more educated than I am. You know, he went to college, he has his 4-year degree. You know, I barely got my 2-year degree. Y lo pasé a panzazos. You know what I mean? So growing up in the tobacco field and the cucumber field, and we picked oranges and we picked, you know, blueberries. Honestly, my goal was just not to be out in the fields anymore. And tenías, honestamente, you couldn't get past your poverty level back in the 90s, let's say, because, you know, they didn't have as much as they have now. Like, you know, you couldn't go to school because, you know, there was no DACA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was not legal at the age of 17. I was like thinking, like, who can I marry? Like, what friend wants to marry me? You know what I mean? But
because that's our only option.
Like, that's our only option: either marry or go back to Mexico, right? Because I couldn't go to school. So honestly, education was not a part of that. Was not mentally there for me.
Were you angry because of that, or sad? Did like obviously, like, I think that as kids, like, we're oblivious to like reality. So, like, did anger or, like, sadness ever cross your mind?
No, ¿sabes por qué?
Hmm.
Because we were too busy trying to survive, right? So whenever
Wow,
you're
that's
trying to survive, you're not thinking about anger or you're not thinking about sadness, right? You're thinking about hustle. Like, I'm a hustle. What can I do to hustle, right? And my hustle back in the day was, I would like just go around and like learn different things. Like I worked at a car dealership and like learned how to fill out titles, you know. And then I was like, well, where else can I go? Like I've always been like, you know, from point A, like I'm just trying to always grow and be better. So I remember I was in high school and I couldn't focus in school. I could not focus, you know, like
ADHD or
yeah, pretty bad. I had it pretty bad. And I remember being in algebra class and I could do everything else, but I could not do algebra to save my life. And then it was embarrassing to ask, you know, like in front, like, hey, I can't do this. So a friend of mine is like, hey, Haydee, you know, let's drop out of school, at high school, and let's go to community college and get our GED fast or get our high school diploma really fast. I'm like, yeah, we can, you know, graduate 2 years early. Why not? So I dropped out of school, right? I went with my friend, and guess what? I could not finish it. She finished her high school, but I couldn't finish. So I don't know if they have it nowadays, but what I did is I put myself... when I was working at a dealership in Lake Wells, Florida, I would go and like give the titles to the DMV. And beside the DMV office was you know, back in the day, they had offices where you can go and apply for jobs, like North Carolina job hunt. You know, I don't know what they call it nowadays.
it was like a state resource center for jobs?
Yeah, like a state resource for jobs.
Okay.
So I would always just go in there every day when I would go give the titles to the DMV, and I would like look to see what kind of jobs they had because I was always looking for the next best thing.
Okay.
So I remember seeing like join Job Corps, Job Corps of America, and I was like, they pay you, they put you to school, they give you a house. I was like, I'm a join. You know, it's kind of like the military, but not military.
Okay.
So I joined Job Corps. They gave me a choice of Texas and Asheville, so I chose Asheville.
Okay.
So at the age of 17, I left my house, and I joined Job Corps, and it was like a little jail. And there I was able to get my degree. They teach you a trade, and my trade was landscaping. Landscaping. And I didn't want to go into nursing. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that stuff, you know. I should have took welding. But I went landscaping, and then I went into school. So it was school 1 week, landscaping, and that's how I was able to get my GED. And that's, yeah.
It seems like you've always been fearless to like anything that life puts you through.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. This is what I tell my kids. If you think about life as if you're thinking about fear, then we're never gonna do anything, because fear can paralyze you, as you know. But when you are so freaking poor, what's stopping you? You have nothing. We have nothing. We gotta go. We gotta go get it. We don't have. What can we lose? Our shoes? You know, la vergüenza. You know, like, what can we lose? You know, we can't lose more than what we don't have. So we got to go get it. So fear to me was never an option.
You know, I love the perspective that I'm getting, like, from another, like, you know, another mom, you know, that has lived through it. Because my dad used to work in the tobacco fields, and he told me that whenever he got to this country, which is, it's always sad, you know, but, like, it's always also very inspiring to see that, and you can be brought up under any type of circumstance, and if you decide to be better than you were yesterday, you can be. Because whenever he got here, he was drinking rotten milk. Like, that's all he had to live with, and he was living in a trailer that had no electricity, no utilities, but that's all you really have. So, like, you know, it's always inspiring to hear that you can get through it.
Yeah. And what I'm gonna tell you, what happened to me, and it took me, I'm barely doing this for 3 years, right? What happened to me as a woman,
Okay.
you know, as a woman mom, because I had Eric when I was like in my 20s, we want stabilization. Like, una mamá quiere una casa estable para sus hijos, and we want to have food, and we want to be able to provide for them, because that's what we want to do as moms. So it took me 16 years at a job. Like, I was giving my job. I was working so hard, for this job. I started doing customer service at MDI. It's called Merchants Distributors Incorporated in Hickory, North Carolina. I started in customer service, and then I went into as a administrative assistant, and then I did marketing, and then from there I just started doing their marketing, their digital coupon, all their digital platforms, and started scaling all the they delivered to grocery stores like Piggly Wiggly, IGAs, and Galaxies. So I started scaling that, and for 16 years I feel like I gave them all my good stuff. I would fight and work so hard. I would come in, and then what I'm trying to say is I messed up.
Okay.
I messed up because we come here a los Estados Unidos, and we were able to do anything. And I chose, to work for someone else, to give all my good stuff, because I didn't know any better. Because I was trying to live an American dream que te pintaron. Te pintaron an American dream, your house, your car, your job, your 8 to 5, your 401k.
Yeah, all that sounds very secure.
Very secure. Like, I was like, because growing up, I had such an insecurity. Tenía una vida tan insegura. No teníamos a veces donde dormir, because we were just very poor, like we lived in like little mobile homes, or we lived like in little rooms, and with 6 kids, it was hard. So that to me was like, I don't want that. I don't want that for my kids. So I'm going to work really hard at this job, and I'm going to scale my way up to corporate, right? But there's where I messed up. I feel like now I'm in my mid 40s, it's kind of hard. So I want, like, you and my son and my daughter, I'm not saying never work for anyone, like under anybody, but I'm just saying don't be there. Like, if I could give advice to anybody, no te quedes ahí, porque llegamos a este país y nos dan todo para salir adelante. Todo nos dan, internet, nos dan asistencia. If we really dig, nos dan préstamos para nuestro propio negocio. It's just hard work, right? But a lot of us are scared, and that was my fault. Fear, like you said, fear did hold me back.
So throughout your career there, you gave it your all. Like, it never crossed your mind to like just leave it, or...
Yeah, one day I was walking out to lunch, and I saw a lady that had been there for like 20 some years, and she looked really skinny and fragile. And I said, "Hey, let's just call her Teresa for a change." I said, "Hey, how are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm sick. I have cancer, but we need insurance, so I'm here." And that hit me. That day, as I came home, and I said, I quit my job.
Who'd you tell?
I quit my job, and my husband was like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay, I quit my job." And then I went in the next day, and I was like, "Hey, I'm giving you my notice." And they're like, "But you're gonna give up your pension?" I'm like, "Yeah." "You're gonna give up your 401k?" "Yeah." "Well, you're gonna get bad references because you're not giving your notices." I said, "I don't care."
How did corporate feel?
They were asking me, "Are you gonna give up your pension?" They were in shock. But I thought that when I left, that they would call me back, or they would be like, "Hey, we need you, but nadie es indispensable, como tú sabes. Nadie es indispensable." And they replaced me right away with like 5 other people, because I was working so hard. Remember, I was telling you I was working really hard, like growing this digital platform.
Yeah.
And
they had to replace you with 5 people.
They had to replace me with 5 people. But then I realized what I can do. I can work for myself. So then that's when my son believed in me enough to say, "Mom, you would be great in real estate."
So he did it first?
Eric did it with me. He studied with me. Eric said, "Mom, I'm in college, but let's study together." So he would force me to study with him. He's like, "Come on, Mom, we got to study." I was like, "Oh, okay."
What was studying like?
Studying with Eric was actual studying, because conmigo yo agarraba el libro, me sentaba, and I would put it on my head. And my husband's like, "The words are not going to go in your head. You actually have to read the book."
Yeah.
So with Eric, he's like, "Okay, we got to study before class. We take class, and then we study after class." And then that was tough because studying with Eric was, he's a slave driver, because he's really good about studying. His study habits are great. And then when we went to go take the test, because we have to go in person to take the test.
How long is the study period or that you guys took?
6 weeks.
Only 6 weeks?
Mm-hmm. To pass your real estate exam.
The residential or how? Because I know that you're in residential and commercial.
Well, residential and commercial go hand in hand. You don't have to have, just a quick side note, you don't have to have your real estate license to sell commercial. In North Carolina, this is what I was told by another agent that does strictly commercial. Mm-hmm. But it helps, of course. It helps for you to have your license.
So how would you sell a commercial property?
It's different. You write a letter of intent and you say, hey, so and so, I want to buy your property, or I want to, do this, and it's a lot of, but you do have to be somewhat educated because there's a lot of legal terms involved.
And if you mess that up, obviously
you're in trouble.
Yeah. Especially with commercial properties, anything goes down, it's a liability. So.
Yeah, so you are able to, sell. But anyways, on a side note, whenever you get your North Carolina license or your South Carolina license, you can sell commercial if you like.
Okay.
You don't have to have just a commercial license.
But it's just crazy to me. 6 weeks. Like, study habits must be really good then.
No, well, you have to study. You have to, that's why I tell people, hey, if you want to get your license, you have to really want it. Don't just go in there and be like, I'm going to get my license today, because if you don't study, you're not going to pass your exam. I know somebody right now that's trying to pass it, and they've been there, their third time, and they can't pass that test.
So can we emphasize on, what exactly you did to really, put that in your mind? Was it just reading? Was it taking notes? How did you? It
was studying with my son Eric. He's meticulous about his notes, and he was able to help me, and we went over the test because when I side note, I tried it by myself. I didn't pass it.
Okay.
But even when Eric and I went to go take the test the first time, he passed it. And there's two parts: national of the U.S. and then North Carolina. Okay. And he passed both, and I passed North Carolina and failed the national.
Okay.
So he's like, I don't want to celebrate, Mom, because, you didn't pass. I was like, it's okay. I'm going to take it again. I was like that movie Teddy, night school. I'm going to do it again. He kept taking the test until he passed.
No. It's kind of like my brother. I've met people that take the real estate test for the third time, and then afterwards they give up. My brother failed his North Carolina contractor's test 6 times, and he didn't give up. And I'm just like, every single time a failure, I saw him no, what I did wrong is my study habits. My study habits are really bad. So therefore he had to force himself 3 hours every night for a whole month. Just put myself in the books, and he passed it. And he surpassed himself on any other test.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, it's the study habits. If it wasn't for my son taking meticulous notes and me copying his notes, okay, what you know, and just him going over it with me, and I am very thankful to have such a great son, because he fussed at me. He's like, Mom, well, you're not gonna pass this test if you don't focus.
It's just hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. No, it's kind of like me and my dad's relationship. He'll get tickets. He'll be like, I know you can fix it here. I was like, okay. It's always that's good. That's a good relationship.
I say I have 2 wonderful kids. They're both very different, but I'm just lucky that, I don't have a troublemaker, let's say, yet.
And so therefore, you end up getting your real estate license. Do things immediately kick off for you, or is it because you've collected all these career skills and then start to implement them in your new career?
No, I remember my first firm. I started in a local firm in Hickory. It's called Osborne Real Estate Group. Mm-hmm. And I would ask the owner, he's a young guy, maybe early 30s, maybe late 20s. And I would be like, hey, Garrett, how do I get people? Like, how can I get leads? You know, we call them leads, you know, people that want to buy. He's like, you're just going to have to go work. I'm like, but what can I do? Like, I would cry. I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, like, you know, I'm like, I need to get paid. You know, I need to have some money. Here you think I'm a single person, but no, I have my husband behind me. Right?
Yeah.
But I don't like to depend on anybody. So I'm like, I need to get some money. So honestly, I just started putting myself out on social media. Like, hey, I'm Haydee, you know, hola, you know, soy aquí, soy Haydee, déjate ayudo a obtener riqueza, déjate ayudo a enseñar cómo comprar tu primera casa, úsame a mí, you know, I'm a good resource, I speak English and Spanish. I would, everybody I talk to, hey, you have anything you want to sell? Or hey, do you have anything you want to buy? Or, you know, any other agents, hey, do you have anything coming up that's not on the market yet? Or houses that have been sitting on the market for a while, I would call them. I'm like, hey, can I do a for sale by owner? And I don't have anybody, right? I don't have nobody. But then I would start putting myself on social media, like, hey, there's this house out here that, you know, who wants to buy it, you know? And then that's how I started like growing my social media, because I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid of the no's. I'm not afraid of the people giving me like the dirty looks. I'm not afraid of that. It hurts me sometimes when I think about it for like a moment, and then it goes away, because I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta eat. But that's how I started it. You know, like I just Garrett's like, you gotta go find it. You gotta go find it.
So you say you took the social media route. Did you think about it like what was your action plan of like, I'm gonna bring a benefit to these people? Or like, how did you start what was working for you?
I stayed on the schedule. So,
Okay.
you know, I stayed on the schedule. So they say consistency is key in everything. And even though I have bad habits, as all humans, but I do try to be consistent. I get up in the morning, you know, I do my walk with, you know, my family, and then I am ready, and I start working at 7:15 a.m. Like 7:20, 7:30. I am ready to work.
Breakfast and everything.
Breakfast and everything. If you call me and you say, I'm ready, Haydee, show me a house at 7:40, I will be right there. Ready. Okay. I'm dressed and ready to go. Like right now, I was dressed at 7 in the morning. Like, you know, 7, take her to school, and then I start right to work. So my habits of being dressed, being ready, I go on my laptop, I look at all the properties, and then I just start calling people. I like read through everything. You know, I call people like, hey, you know, is your seller willing to do a for sale by owner? You know, I got a guy who may have some money, you know, and I don't have a guy, but I go on social media like, hey, who's got $30,000 and wants to buy a house? You see what I'm saying? Porque in real estate, you kind of have to go look for your own stuff. Nobody's giving you nothing. Nobody is going to give you anything. So you have to be able to take time to listen to the consumer, and then you have to go find the product, right? So I want a house. I have $30,000. Okay, let me call all these agents, see what seller is willing to sell me their house in payments.
Okay.
And give them a $30,000 down payment, like a for sale by owner, right? And that's how I started. So then I started, you know, calling everybody, all the agents, and then people just started coming back to me, say, hey, Haydee, I got this. Can you find me a buyer? Hey, Haydee, I got this. Can you find, like, you know, I get those all the time. They, you know, some wholesalers reach out to me, but these are other random people that have like pocket properties that come to me and say, hey, sell this. So as a new agent, what would I say? Let's say you were a new agent, and I'll be like, okay, look, you need to get yourself a routine, and you need to be consistent. Okay. And it doesn't matter if you like going to the gym at night or in the morning. You need to be consistent with your routine, right? And that's how that's how I was able to grow my audience, by being consistent, because they know that every day I'm going to put properties out there. They know that I'm going to be doing this, and they know that I'm not afraid to write up a bad offer.
Did work and life balance cross your mind while you were starting? Because, you know, like today it's kind of like again, I'm not trying to downplay no one, but it's like, I think that in the started stages of anything, it's like there are no limits. Like Saturdays and Sundays are also included. So how did you kind of look at that?
Creo que in this part I'm lucky. Again. Okay. because my husband and I are both immigrants. We're both illegal, so we know that we have to hustle. I think if I were to have been in a relationship with somebody that was maybe born here and had more, and had like, ¿cómo te digo? Que nació aquí, maybe que tenía ese cushiony household, you know, like very...
Or like costumbres.
Las costumbres. So, no, mi esposo y yo, we work. Like, we're field workers. You know, we know what hard work is, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. picking tobacco.
Yeah.
So to us, this is like, we're on vacation, man. I'm riding in my car, looking at houses.
Yeah. No, absolutely. My dad's like, ¿de qué te estresas? Y like, no estás debajo del sol. Like, estás en una silla sentado en tu computadora. Tal vez no tengas calefacción, pero no estás quemándote, no estás...
No, you know, we're living the life. I remember when I got married, I gained a lot of weight. I was like super skinny. And the reason I gained weight is because we never ate out. Like, we didn't have enough food. And when I married my husband, I was like, oh my God, una torta. I was like, oh, this is
like,
good.
I love hanging out with my boyfriend because everything's free.
You know, tortas, tamales, tacos. I was like in heaven.
Yeah.
So, you know, back to real estate. Whoever wants to come into real estate, what I tell young agents, and because I get this asked all the time, how are you getting your leads? I just get up and I work. Well, what do? I get up and I'm ready to work at 7:30, and then I just start looking. I just hunt. I'm like a hunter. I'm hunting for properties. I call people. I look on Facebook. You know, I text people, hey, you have anything? And then whatever comes up that's a good deal, I just put it out. I put it out on TikTok, and then it just happens.
You know, some people would say, like, it matters where you are. The Charlotte market is saturated. Does changing places in North Carolina change anything for that? Because, I mean, people could easily say, oh, no, Hickory has just ugly houses. Like, they're not going to sell. Like, does the market or the place where you try to sell affect sales?
I don't ever look at that.
Okay.
I don't even think about that. I'm gonna tell you why. The way I see it is, hay una tienda mexicana en cada esquina, y cada tienda mexicana vende y sobrevive, right? It's all mindset. Porque si llega una persona y dice, voy a abrir una tienda mexicana, no, es que hay muchísimas tiendas. ¿Para qué abrir una, right? ¿Para qué abro una tienda?
Mm-hmm.
Si hay muchas tiendas. So my mindset is the same way. Like, I'm like that store owner that doesn't care, that keeps selling like his little gancitos, you know, and he just keeps working and next thing you know, he's got bank. I don't look at it. I don't look at the market. I don't look at the agents. I don't look at anything. I don't even look at the news. I am like focused every day. And the days that I am not focused, I sit down and I think about, okay, I need to just reset, or I'll cry it out. I do cry sometimes, and then I just get up and I do it again. Like, I get up and I do it again, and then I get up and I do it again, and then I get up and I do it again. Like, I don't look at the news. I don't look at the market. I don't care about the market reports. I don't listen to the chatter of other agents. Sometimes I don't even hang out with other agents. I try. Like, I want to be part of the group, and I want to be part of the little cliques, and I just don't. One, because I don't have the time, like you said, the work-life balance. Mm-hmm. And two, because I don't want to listen to the chatter.
Because I think that also, like, I've met a lot of people that, like, want to start it, but they're like, oh, no, like, the market, they're predicting that it's going to go down. Like, the market is not the best that it could be. And, like, I often think about it, like, 10, 15 years ago, Charlotte isn't what it is today. Like, it's just, everything's gonna move forward no matter what news that they put out there.
Yeah, y como tú dices, uno piensa, tu papá, you know, I'm sure tu papá compró esta casa, you know, en un precio decente. And then we bought some houses in Hickory, like super cheap. Y le digo a mi esposo, hubiéramos comprado más. Y el dicho es, el hubiera no existe. El hubiera no existe. El hubiera no hay, no existe. So, igual, si yo me hubiera esperado a que la market hubiera sido mejor, porque cuando yo empecé real estate es cuando ya los rates estaban subiendo, you know. I started real estate when the rates were going back up high.
You could have looked at that and
I could have looked at that and said, no voy a empezar ahorita, voy a esperar, voy a trabajar y voy a esperarme. You know, I will say though, when I got my real estate license, I did want some money, so I started like job hunting. You know, I can do both. I said I can work and I can sell real estate. And then that lasted for like a day because I was like, I'm gonna go work at a wood shop. That's where I went because I'm gonna learn how to like the types of wood. Here I am, no, that lasted like a day. I was
I don't. You couldn't handle that.
You can't be successful in two things. If you want to scale, you cannot be successful in real estate and have a part-time job. There's no way because you can't give it 100%, right? In real estate and give it 50% in your part-time job. And let's say you're a mom. I was trying to work a part-time job, work and grow my real estate, be part of my family, and also take care of myself, take care of like my mom and, you know, around you. How does that even work? That doesn't happen. So you have to pick your battles. Is like the $12 an hour job really going to help in any way? That's what I was running away from. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I got back into for like a minute. And I was like, no, man, this is my mindset. Your mindset is wrong. Your values are incorrect. When you go back to when I left my hourly job and I went back to that, my values were shifted. And you have to go back to your values. Okay, why did I quit my job? And why did I go into this? You know, and what is my purpose? Remind
yourself. Mm-hmm. How do you get so busy and not neglect like I'd say your family as a mom, as a esposa?
Sometimes it's pasa. A veces pasa, you know, you can't help that. Es como tu papá. You know, tu papá tiene un negocio y a veces el dicho es no, you know, work-life balance, right? Is there such a thing?
I mean, I think that's just like culturally, like that's what people want to accept today. Because I mean, depression is real, but it's real to whom accepts it. I don't want to get hate, right? But like to who accepts it, because like you said,
I'm with you.
Like there are situations where you just. I mean, I could tell you there's times where I have had low times, but it's just kind of like, you know what? Okay, pass it. Let's get back to work type of thing.
This is what I tell my kids. I'm like, okay, look, that's today's day. Go ahead, cry it out. Think about it. But then don't stay there, right? Because, man, I'm going to tell you something. Don't stay there because life is just so beautiful, you know, like es tan fácil. Yo puedo decir, mira, I'm gonna be so sad porque no voy a hacer nada porque yo crecí sin papeles, you know, sin mi papá era un drogadito, you know, mi papá le pegaba mucho a mi mamá. Yo miraba eso, yo me peleaba en la escuela mucho, you know, I was always in trouble. I was a kid that was always in trouble. I would fight in school. I couldn't focus in school. Yo puedo meterme en todo esto. Puedo decir, you know, yo hago drogas porque pues a mí nadie me quiso. Yo era somos 6, yo era la tercera y mi mamá ni siquiera sabía que existía. You know, I shouldn't even know I was there because she was so busy trying to survive. So I could be a drug addict. I could easily like, you know, just leave my family right now and say, you know what, I never had una juventud. You know, nunca tuve una party, you know, time.
Yeah.
You know,
you easily can.
You can easily, like you said, go down that rabbit hole if you wanted to, right? You could easily go down that rabbit hole and be depressed and be sad. I could sit here and cry if I think about my dad, like, oh, you know, I don't have a dad, you know, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. or I could be like, you know what, this is gonna make me a better person. So yo entiendo, my sister believes big time in depression, like get help and mental help, and I believe in like ponte las pilas y échale para adelante.
do your you said you're the third child, like do you share the same drive? Like it's always crazy to me to see like how like my dad only has his brother because his mom died whenever he was very young, and I see that my uncle, like, and they were both neglected. You could say neglected, right? Like my grandpa would like make them work from like 7 to 7, you know, all the time, and then he would also take their money, so they didn't have anything, right? But one grew up with, I could clearly see it. One grew up fearful, and one grew up a risk taker. One grew up with a little bit more hate, and one grew up with, no, I'm going to give more grace for people. How did that play out across your siblings?
Well, there's 6 of us. One of them is the one that you mentioned earlier. He's stuck in that past that, you know, he's sad all the time. Or like, you know, nobody loves me. Or like, you know, my mom took my money. There is another one that is a big, you know, corporate America. He said, you know, his goal in life was to have his wife, his kids be educated, and him make more than like, you know, let's say over, you know, maybe like in the 6 or, you know, 7, almost a mil figure. And he's doing it. He's successful. And then I have another one que le vale madre, sorry for the word, you know, but he's like, you know, he's like, psh, you know, he is crazy, you know. And then my sister, you know, she's very cautious. And then I have another little sister who's a hippie. And then you have me that I don't care either, you know, like my goal is to survive and succeed. And so we have a big crazy family, you know. But I'm very thankful for everything that, like you said, you know, for what my mom and my dad, you know, my mom put us through, because my dad wasn't around. That it's made us all, I'm gonna say good people, because we haven't like killed anybody. To be such a messed up family, you know, we don't do drugs or we haven't killed anybody. We're surviving. Yeah. You know, so I'm thankful that, you know, I'm not stuck in that mindset. Que pobre de mí, you know, o pobrecita de mi familia, o no tuvimos eso. So I'm just thankful for that.
Because, I mean, people, like, it's 3 years. You've only been in this in 3 years. The first year sells amazing. Second year's growing. Third year growing. And I can even see, I even saw your platform, like TikTok. I've tried it already for like 2 years, and I'm at 160 followers, and good for you, right? Like you have 30,000 followers. What do you think it is that boosts that? Like what do you think is that? Like why people keep on coming back?
Even though I'm called like names, I actually have 47. I checked it earlier. Okay. I'm just kidding. Like I'm just kidding. 47. What I'm gonna tell you, what drives me again. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of what's coming to me, because I feel like I have nothing, right? I'm not doing anything wrong. You know, I'm just putting stuff out there and you know, for people to see, like, you know, some news, or like, you know, pongo las casas para que, lo veo de esta manera. Empecé de esta manera. Pongo las casas baratas y pongo todas las casas que pueden ser buenas inversiones. Pongo las casas que pueden ayudar a nuestra gente latina. And I know this is going to sound weird, because I remember when I bought my first house, I had to beg a realtor to come help me.
Really?
Yeah, because la mayoría eran americanos.
And they're used to, like, if you don't have a W-2.
If you don't have no money, a W-2, you know, they want to see certain things. There's some realtors that when they ask you, do you have your pre-approval letter? Or do you have cash?
I don't even know what that is. Like, our community's not gonna know. Like,
nah. If you call me today, you say, "Hey, I want to see this house." I don't even ask you your name. I'm like, "Sure, I'll be right there." So that's what I try to put out. I try to help everybody, and sometimes that can be bad too, right? Because you can't help everybody. I want to help everybody, but you can't. But when I started, that was my whole thing. I'm just helping everybody. They say, "Do you ask questions?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I don't even ask their names." Well, how do you know who you're going to meet? I'm going to meet a family. And then, how Latinos are. We show up with all our cousins to look at this house. No. And then you make friends, and then you meet them. And then I don't go into the weeds.
But I think that whenever you open up yourself to that starting, like, okay, if it's not this person you can help, it's like, it's this other person that, it's going to tell, like, because we have a whole bunch of family members. So it's like, hey, I couldn't buy a house, but hey, why don't you call Haydee and see if you can buy a house?
Yeah. So again, with your social media growth, I think it's going to go back to what we talked about in the beginning. The content that is going to be put out there, and how interesting you make it, And I refuse to dance. I was like, I'm not dancing. I'm not singing.
No, me neither. I want to bring a side of entertainment to things, but just that, like, I feel like there's so many other podcasts already, like, clowning stuff that I'm just like, do I really want to invest myself into that? No, because first of all, that's not me. And second, I want to bring, I guess I kind of want to be a resource center, because I grew up an immigrant, and when I was in high school, I saw all my friends, oh, look, this is the score I got in SAT, like, I'm gonna go to this college, like, it's like people have their life basically set up for them, and I was like, what is an SAT? Like, why does that matter? So it's like, I used to close off myself a lot. And now that I'm starting to meet people, my mind always opens up to new perspectives, always opens up my mind to new options. Because I would say that also, like, growing up Hispanic, like, my friends would also close themselves off. So that environment made me grow up saying, oh, like, school is the only option. But like, it could be todo lo contrario, because, like, I meet people like you, and it's like, no, it's like, you decide who you want to be.
Yeah, just, from the beginning, when I told you the very beginning, my goal was to have a corporate job, because that was the mentality that was fed in high school. Because I went to high school, I didn't go to college. I went to college later on in life. But in high school, that's what they teach you, like you said. Study, get a job, pass your... I don't even know what an SAT is. I never took an SAT in my life, but I pushed Eric to take an SAT. I paid for it because I knew what needed to be done to get him into a college, because of what I went through in high school, and because of my siblings, that are educated, what they were teaching me. And igual yo, como tú dices, I want to be a resource. That was the purpose of my TikTok, to be a resource para la gente latina, para decirles, hey, no nada más esta persona puede comprar una casa, tú también puedes comprarla, y te voy a decir cómo hacerlo,
Can a person without papers buy a house?
El otro día me regañaron porque dije eso, sin papeles, right? They're like, oh, sin papeles, no, it's, sin documentos, or, no, non-status. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm sorry, le digo que no sabía, porque en mi tiempo, en los 90, se usaba la tarjeta rosa, sin papeles. My friends were making the socials on the side, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yes, una persona sin seguro social puede comprar una casa. Una persona sin seguro social puede vender una casa. Una persona sin seguro social puede vender una casa de $300,000 down y no te afecta. Porque si vendes una casa de $300,000 up, los abogados legalmente tienen que decirle al IRS que tú vendiste esta casa, se llama FERP, o una ley que pasó que hay, y te tienen que descontar dinero. So it's a whole mess, right?
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. So what I'm trying to say is, there's no limit. La gente que yo he conocido que they are the most successful that I met, the most successful buyers are immigrants. Sin documentos de ningún tipo.
would it be advisable then to put it like create a company, an LLC?
It is always good to put anything in LLC or S corp. Por ejemplo, si tú quieres comprar un carro y no tienes una licencia, ponla bajo de tu LLC y te dan el título bajo tu nombre.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. That's doable.
I mean, luckily I have a license, right? But,
I didn't have a license.
I did not know that. You could put it underneath the company name.
LLC, yeah. You put it on your S corp on your LLC. It's a title. You can put a mobile home or a car.
Yeah, because mobile homes, I just started like investing into it, and I was like, I didn't know mobile homes were like title, like cars either. Like I was like, I had always closed off myself to like, oh, mobile homes don't sell or anything like that, but. Again, like it's kind of like always opening up my mind to new things, meeting new people, and it gives me new options. So, what would you say that? How am I gonna put this question? What is the best way, I guess, if I'm an immigrant and I want to get into investing into properties? What road would you take them down? Like if I have $100,000 here, porque ves que guardamos dinero debajo del colchón y ahí se queda.
So, the best way is to find a property where you're able to manage that property for the moment, right? But desafortunadamente el área aquí alrededor se ha puesto tan cara que $100,000 is really nothing right now.
Yes.
So, going out, maybe like a couple of hours away or an hour away, and then buying your property and flipping it and just selling it. Stay under 300, do one first, then do your second one. Then you're going to accumulate your capital. Then you can do more and more and more. I think what holds us back, and I'm guilty, is because there's even hard money lenders. You don't even have to have the money. We don't even have to have the money. We just have to have the track record, right? So if you've done like one or two flips and you're like, hey, this is, here's my one flip, here's my two flip, and you have a real estate agent that we can put something together on like a little PowerPoint slide and send it to the hard money lender, then you're set. Then you can start buying. Then you can start reselling. Or you can start building, like your brother who's a general contractor. I'm sure he builds homes. You know what I mean?
Well, we're actually on our first one, and we're actually like heads in because this project is gonna take $400,000. We already put $200,000, but if anybody has $200,000 out there, let me know. But the upside of things is that we've gained a lot of experience, and that house is gonna sell for $650 easily. Like
we can work on something and get you two figures from somewhere. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but yeah, it's always like obviously if we let fear hold us back, a lot of things wouldn't have been accomplished because we started doing flips. I almost got arrested because I didn't get permits for a house over there in like Albemarle, North Carolina, and we stripped the house. The inspector came, put a notice: if you don't have a permit in 24 hours, we're gonna take you to jail. And it was under my name, and I was like,
no, I mean there's some things that I can't help with. I got a call from a lady yesterday. She said, "Hey, Haydee." I think they think I'm an attorney too, or I'm not sure. Like, hey, Haydee, I started building a house in Claremont, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. The inspector came and he told me I had to tear everything down because I didn't have a permit. She tore it down. She says now they want me to clean it all up in the next couple of days, or they're gonna take me to jail. What can I do? I said, I'm not an attorney, but I can point you to an attorney, and if that attorney can't help you, she can point you to another attorney. So, that kind of resource I can be. But you're right. A real estate is a learning investment. It's a learning investment in yourself. You're a learning investment with your company. And it's just, you grow. It's a painful growth, but it's a very rewarding growth. I mean, I could have thrown my daughter a good party, like a good quince party, if it wasn't for my hard work that I did, Like I was so poor. We were so poor that we couldn't do the things like that, Like I just got lucky. I worked so hard, and we're like, we're gonna have a party, And then I bought me a car, And then, I was able to buy like 3 houses, and then we bought a duplex, and then I just bought me another house that I'm flipping. So, we're like always constantly growing. But if you wanted to know how much money I had when we first started, probably like $200.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm such in a grim moment. Like but it's absolutely doable, and that's why I like bringing guests like you on the podcast, because it's doable. Like
I think what happens is we can put ourselves in a mindset that can break you. And
okay,
I'll give you this explanation. If you're a migrant and you no tienes documentos, you can easily be like, I'm a migrant, I don't have documents, no puedo hacer esto, right? You can easily put yourself in that little box. But just like your parents, or just like my mom, or just like me, we have to succeed no matter what. Like, we don't have a choice, right? So if you can get out of that mindset, don't stick around that mindset. Have yourself the pity party, but then get out of that mindset and just go be successful. Anybody can do anything. And real estate opens up doors for people. Real estate, if you find you a good agent, and if you're able to work with somebody good, you will be successful. You will make money. That is the fastest way to grow wealth.
You've been successful in real estate and absolutely have proved it with your sales.
Thank you.
How have you, like, and I'm asking you a mom question, like, how do you raise good children? Porque ves que a veces también, si mi papá siempre, like, ha tenido una mano dura, se puede decir, conmigo, y mi mamá siempre ha venido como al rescate. Como
oh
que,
no, I'm the opposite. I want to beat the crap out of them. But
because like today, it's like kids can take a turn to wherever, right? Like, does it depend on the kid? Or would you say it depends on like the mom and dad a lot?
Yo soy una creyente. I'm old school. Yo sí creo en mental stability for a good well-being. No significa like mental, like, oh hi, like, lullaby baby. No. Mental stability, like no drogas, no, no fumar, no like crazy stuff, right? To me that's mental stability. Okay. Porque cuando yo crecí, mi papá hacía drogas, nos pegaba, no teníamos comida, there was always fights, siempre pelea, y mi papá siempre peleaba. So to me, I always saw that as, I don't want that, I don't want that. Pero no, yo a mis hijos les digo, hey, this is literally, Bella, when Eric said, I don't want to go to school, I said, just drop out. Drop out right now. I said, don't even go to school, Pa. We live right beside McDonald's. You can literally walk to McDonald's. I don't care. If you want to go work at McDonald's, just go. Just go. Okay. I'm not the mom that's going to hold you back. If you want to be un menso, go for it. There's nothing I can do to stop you. I can tell you, though, that it's going to be a hard life, Okay. It's going to be a hard life. Do you want to live a good life, or do you want to live a hard life? An easy life or a hard life? If you want an easy life, drop out of school right now. Go work at McDonald's. You're going to have an 8 to 5, and you're going to get a paycheck. That's your easy life. If you want to have a good, hard life, then you're going to have to work hard, be successful, work hard for a good while, until you get your business going, and then you're going to have an easy life. Choose your hard. Choose your hard. Right?
Yeah. Because either way, it's going to be
nice.
hard.
I tell them, like, Bella, I said, if you're going to cry, I said, don't cry. You're going to get sick. Like, cry it out for like a minute and then get over it, Cry out. It's okay to cry. We have feelings. We have to cry. But then get over it. And then whenever I start to cry, they tell me, okay, Mom, cry it out. Go ahead. It's okay. Cry it. And then you're fine. Then you'll be good. But
so is it like let them make their choices y deja que se tropiecen solos?
See? because si no lo hago, then they're gonna fail. You know, I'm not the mom that follows them on their grades on school. I never check their grades. Never. I don't even check their location. Ask them if they know. I never. You know why? Because we tell them. Le digo, no te tengo que decir que la tía, que mira esta persona. I'm telling you from experience. My dad was a drug addict. If you want to be a drug addict, this is what happened to me. Like, this is what happened to me. You go be a drug addict. If Bella wants to go get pregnant, Bella, this is what happens when you get pregnant. I don't have to go far. I have a little sister who got pregnant at 14. We don't have to go to another family. It's all in my family. You don't want to go to school, Bella? This is what happened to me. I had to go fruit pick. I had to pick out in the fields. I had to struggle. I had to work for somebody. I had to beg. My boss to let me get off work so I can go see my kids their awards day. I had to beg, hey, can I come in and work in the morning and then not take a lunch so I can go see my daughter? That infuriates me. Like, that makes me angry that I had to beg somebody. Now that I know, see, if you ask me right now, Haydee, should I go to college? I would say just go to college for knowledge, but then get a trade afterwards. Go weld. Go be a concrete person. Go be a roofer. Go be an electrician. ¿Por qué? Porque después puedes abrir tu propia compañía, and then you can be your own boss. Don't go work for somebody. Of course, sometimes we have to. We need the teachers.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need the stuff. Pero si tú eres...
De esa agua no digas que de esa agua no voy a beber. Siempre dice mi papá.
No, pues el dicho, no escupas para arriba porque te va a caer en la cara.
Oh, yeah, también eso. Dang, a whole bunch of dichos are going to come out of it.
Right? Nunca digas nunca. Porque tienes que hacer lo necesario para sobrevivir. Right? Pero trata de ser mejor. Like, you want to be better than your dad.
Absolutely. I look at him and he's like, for him to come out of poverty, it's like this. It's like he was at 0%, but then he went to like 1,000%. So it's like, how do I do 10 times that? It's pressure, but without that pressure, I wouldn't have grown up to be the individual that I am. I can say that I had a lot of hate for him when I was younger, but then that hate, I came to understand it, and you come to know. As a kid, you hold a lot of feelings. It's kind of like you're lost in the world.
Well, that's what I tell. This is what happens to kids, and I tell this to, talk to my mom sometimes. Cuando eres niño, you make your own stories because, you as a parent have to guide your kids. So, like, for example, if you see something, you make up your own story in your mind, and that's what you believe, and then, as a parents, we have to then kind of teach her, like, hey, this is what happened, but we still have our story.
Yeah.
We still have our stories in our mind as a kids. This is what happened. This is what happened to me, and that's just being a kid,
Yeah, as a whole bunch of things have changed, obviously. Like, it's like, but one thing I could be thankful for them. So it's really,
Well, I'm thankful for my mom. Le digo, gracias por no matarme. Nowadays, the mothers give up and they kill their kids. I was like,
oh yeah. The pressure is insane, but I think the pressure applies to just about anybody in any type of circumstance in life.
Well, they say, what is that saying? Pressure makes diamonds. Mm-hmm. You keep at it. One of the things I tell my daughter, and I tell even my son, I'm like, just don't think about it. Just do it. Just do it, because if you sit there and you think about it, you're never going to do it. You're going to always find a problem. Let's say you or me or you, whenever you want to do your podcast, you were just telling me, well, I don't want to do that because, it's this. And I tell my son, look, just do it. Just keep at it until you're never going to become perfect. You're going to get great at it. You're going to do it until you can become great. And then you're going to keep doing it, and you're going to keep doing it, and you're going to keep doing it, and you're going to become great. You're not going to be an expert, and you're not going to be a perfect person, but you're going to be a great person. Right?
Thank you. I really appreciate it. We're going to have to cut it off because then my cameras heat up. I was telling everyone. Yeah. But Haydee Trejo, are you licensed in North Carolina and South Carolina?
I'm currently only licensed in North Carolina because I have not had time to go get my South Carolina license, but my son will be licensed in South Carolina. So if you need properties in South Carolina, we can also help.
Okay, any last message you want to close us off with?
Yes, no matter your situation, we can always find you a home. So just come talk to us.
I thank you a lot for coming on the podcast, and I hope we can do it again. And I hope your following goes from 43,000 to 100,000.
I hope
so I appreciate it, Haydee. And
thank you.
Guys, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys have any realtor needs, I'll have Haydee's info down at the description below. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Haydee, thank you again.
Thank you.